as well as Adelaide looking nice at 26.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. At this time on Al Jazeera.
If you're a Nokia user, you can download AlJazeera's news widget from Nokia's Ovis store. The news widget, available on compatible Nokia devices, gives users quick and easy access to real-time news updates from Al Jazeera English. See the world in real time. Al Jazeera Mobile.
Assault on rebel-held Ras Lanuf. Libya's Muammar Gaddafi launches new airstrikes on the strategic oil town. A battle rages for the center of a zawiya. Both sides claim gains after fierce fighting kills at least 40 people. Muammar Gaddafi is also on a diplomatic offensive as Libyan officials land in Egypt, Portugal and Belgium. Hello, I'm Sami Zaidan in Doha. Also on the program, fresh turmoil in Egypt's Tahrir Square as armed men attack pro-democracy protesters. The Taliban attack a funeral procession in Pakistan, killing dozens of people.
Mingir touchdown.
And a veteran of space travel makes its final landing before retirement. Well, dozens of people have been killed and 2 oil installations are in flames after the latest battles between Libyan rebels and forces loyal to Muammar al-Gaddafi. Well, the Libyan leaders also launched a diplomatic mission, sending envoys to meetings in Europe and Egypt. But the bloodshed goes on. Gaddafi's forces have been attacking rebel positions with tanks, rockets and airstrikes. A battle's been raging in a zawiya, that's the strategically important town near the capital, Tripoli. A doctor there says at least 40 people have been killed. The state television showed these pictures saying government forces had forced anti-Gaddafi fighters out of the city. Well, that claim's being denied by the rebels. Further east, rebel fighters say they've advanced into the town of Bin Jawad, but faced airstrikes and heavy bombardment from tanks. And an airstrike on Wednesday hit a fuel storage facility in the port of Sidra, that's near Ras Lanuf. Al Jazeera's Jackie Rowland was there.
The attack comes from the sky. Pro-Gaddafi forces unleash a savage counter-offensive against the town of Ras Lanuf. Rebel fighters on the ground are sitting targets. They're vulnerable and they know it. Gaddafi's bombers have hit an oil storage depot about 10 kilometers to the west. Even from Ras Lanuf, the damage is tangible. We want to take a closer look, so we hitch a ride on the back of a pickup truck. We're not the only ones racing west. Rebel fighters are moving up to the front line. And on the roadside, a reminder of the grim tally of dead and injured. Medics prepare to take the wounded back to Ras Lanuf.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
The columns of smoke loom ominously on the horizon. We move closer.
Well, it does appear to be some kind of an oil installation. And as we approach it, we can see that the bombers have hit it in 3 different points. On this closest point here, we can actually see the flames. About 500 meters away as well, we can hear the rebels are firing mortars up into the air where the Gaddafi bombers are still circling overhead.
They drop another bomb inside the fence of the oil storage depot. Gaddafi's forces are clearly targeting this facility. The rebels fire multiple rocket launchers. Their target, not the warplanes, but rather a small group of pro-Gaddafi troops on the ground. Those troops are firing mortars from beneath the oil depot. They appear to be outflanked by the rebels. And all the time, the dense smoke rises, turning the afternoon into a premature night. We take shelter in a ditch in the desert. Unbeknown to us, the rebels have moved more rocket launchers to a sandbank behind us. The pro-Gaddafi troops have spotted them. They send their mortars thundering in.
Guys, we have to go. We have to get out of here.
The mortar and rocket fire stops for a moment, our chance to escape. We have been 1 kilometre from the front line, and what we have seen has changed our perception of this rebel force. They've demonstrated more know-how than we had given them credit for, and their courage and determination are undeniable. Jackie Rowland, Al Jazeera, outside Ras Lanuf in eastern Libya.
Gaddafi's forces have become more aggressive in the last few days. Tony Bertley reports from AlJazeera, which is still under rebel control.
If it was deliberate, the attack on the oil refinery depot in Ras Lanuf shows a worrying trend and escalation, and is bringing home the fears of many people here that Gaddafi will unleash his air force and destroy the oil and gas installations in the area. Fortunately, this was only an oil storage depot, but if it was the gas installation complex, which is not far away, then it would be far worse scenario. Thousands of people would be killed when toxic gases would be released into the air. So it's a very, very worrying time for people here. But it's showing also that the front lines here are very fluid. We understand from the government sources that they're claiming they've taken the Bin Jawad area back. The opposition forces say they still have it. It's very confusing to get an accurate handle on what is going on. But there is confusion, but there is also ultimate determination from the opposition forces. They're still massing no matter what. They are intent on going down that road and progressing as far as possible. And even if that means their death, they're very committed to this situation. We can tend to think that maybe things are going on behind the scenes. There may be talks going on in secret to try and get a peaceful solution, because we haven't yet seen Gaddafi unleash the full might of his force. We know that 200 kilometers away in Sirte, his stronghold, there's high-tech weaponry and there are 4,000 well-trained men. He hasn't used them yet. We're seeing every single day the Air Force in action dropping 2 or 3 bombs, but largely these are missing their targets. So we're asking the question, are the pilots deliberately doing that, or are they just sending a warning signal? We don't know. It's a very confusing situation. It seems to become more confused by the day.
Senior representatives from Muammar al-Gaddafi's government have been deployed in an apparent diplomatic blitz. Well, the first plane took off from Tripoli and landed in Cairo. Sources are telling us talks will take place with the Arab League. Well, the second plane left Tripoli and stopped briefly in Malta, then proceeded to Lisbon. That's where Portugal's foreign ministers held an informal meeting with Gaddafi's envoy.